guys, it's Sandy. Welcome to my channel. I have a homemade pizza dough recipe that is so simple to make, you're going to love it. On this channel, I like to share healthy eating tips, healthy living tips, basic budgeting tips. Well, this is a great pizza dough because one, you're making it at home with simple ingredients that you already have, so it's really easy and it's healthier when you make stuff at home, and it is so budget friendly because it's really cheap to make your own pizza and it tastes better. We make homemade pizza all the time. We love homemade pizza. So let me show you what to do. This is simple. So you're going to need, first, you're going to need 1 cup of warm water. But you know what I like to do is it needs to be warm, and I always like to heat up whatever I'm using, my glass, first.
If you put warm water into a cold measuring cup, then it's going to reduce that temperature and the yeast has to have it warm. So instead, I put hot water in, it warms up my glass container, and then I pour that out and put in the warm water.
So now I have 1 cup of nice warm water. You don't want your water to be too cold. If it's too cold, then your yeast will not rise, the dough will not rise. And if it's too hot, you're going to kill your yeast. So I'm just putting in 1 packet of fast rising yeast. You could also use active yeast, that is fine. If you buy it in bulk and you have it in a container, it's 2.5 teaspoons of yeast is what you'll need. So I'm just gonna put my yeast in here, and to that I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Sugar actually feeds the yeast, so you just wanna mix this together. Add in 1 teaspoon of sugar, and then you just mix this. Now I'm gonna sit this aside for about 5 minutes, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna get all bubbly, and that means the yeast is actually working. I'll show you what that looks like. So when I sit this over here, and now I'm just gonna make my dry ingredients in this bowl, in a clear bowl so you can see what I'm doing. And now I'm gonna add 2.5 cups of flour. And to that, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt. Now you gotta have salt. Salt's what gives it flavor. And if you wanna put garlic powder in it, you could put 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, or you could add oregano or rosemary if you like spices in it. I'm just sticking with salt. I know you can probably hear all kinds of squealing going on right now because the puppies are 3 weeks old and they are in our mudroom right off from the kitchen and are getting hungry. They're waiting for their mama to come in. So they're really starting to squeal in there.
So now the yeast is ready. When it has bubbles on top like this, it means it's ready. The sugar has fed the yeast and we're ready to make our dough.
So now you're gonna add your wet mixture into the dry mixture. Just make a little well in here and then pour your sugar and yeast right into the bowl. And then just mix that up a little bit. And then one more thing is I need to add some olive oil. It's 1 tablespoon of olive oil that I add in right now. It just makes the dough really elastic. You could use canola oil or whatever kind of oil you want. I just use olive oil. It's gonna be a sticky dough at first. It's gonna just mix together right and make into a ball. If it is too sticky, add just a little bit of flour, a tablespoon at a time. And if it's too dry, then add a little bit of water to it. You just wanna do a little bit at a time. Different places need different amounts according to where you live and altitudes and all that. So you can see the stickiness of my dough. I need to add a little bit more flour to mine. What I wanted to do is come away from the walls of the bowl a little better. Okay, I added 1 tablespoon of flour and see how it's come away from the walls of the bowl now. Now I just take my spatula and scrape off the sides, and then I want to put this onto a floured surface. You have to make sure that the surface is floured. So let me just throw some flour out here. And we have to knead the dough now. Get a little bit of flour on your hands. Make sure you have plenty of flour and have it close by so that you can keep using it if you need a little bit more. And now you're gonna start kneading it. Kneading it means pushing it over and taking the palm of your hand and just pushing in with your palm. And I can already see that I need to get some more flour on my hands because it's getting a little bit sticky. You want to do this for at least 3 to 4 minutes to get the air into the dough. This is what gets the gluten going in your dough, and that's what you need to do. You have to knead it. You cannot skip this step. You're gonna have a perfect ball of dough. See how nice that dough sits now? So you can either make one large pizza with one ball of dough, or you could just cut this dough in half and have 2 smaller thin inch pizzas. Usually we cut it in half and do 2 pizzas at a time. But today, just for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna do 1 pizza. Now I need to let the pizza dough rise, and I'm just gonna use the same bowl, and I need to have oil for it too. So I'm gonna put a little bit of oil down in the bottom, put my pizza in, and cover it with some more oil on top. Now you just need to cover it and put it in a warm place for at least 20 to 30 minutes, or you could just put it in the refrigerator, put saran wrap over it, and leave it overnight for 24 hours. It can stay in the refrigerator.
So you can see that the dough is beginning to rise. Now I set my oven temperature to 475 degrees, and then I move the bowl to the stovetop just because it's a little bit of a warmer place and it'll continue to rise, and then we're gonna make our pizza. Now I told you that I usually make 2 pizzas with this dough. I have these stones. I use them as cookie sheets. I use them as pizza pans. But since I'm only making 1, I'm going to use this one larger pizza pan for today. And it has the holes in it, so it makes it a little bit crispier. But you use whatever you have at home. So now the dough has doubled in size. This probably sat there for about 40 minutes. I started doing some other things and just got busy, but it doesn't matter. It could sit there for hours if you need it to, or it can sit there as little as 30 minutes. It's just so it's in a warm enough place that it will rise. So get oil on your hands, grease your pan really good, and then make sure your hands have oil on them so that you can push the dough out. This dough is very pliable, and it will just spread out very easily for you. So now it's time to add the sauce and add any toppings. Pick whatever kind of sauce that you like. I'm doing what my family likes. And then as far as for the video, I just made it a cheese pizza, and my son Tristan, that's what he wanted. So I only made that, but if this was my pizza, I would have all kinds of veggies on top. Put your pizza in the 475 degree oven. Set your timer anywhere from 10 to 13 minutes. This depends on you, how crispy you like it. I set mine for 13 minutes because I like it a little more well done, but that's a personal preference. And this is what it looks like. The cheese is bubbly, it's perfect crust. As soon as it cooled down just a little bit, I cut it into slices, nice big slices, just like the big New York kind of style pizzas. Now look at that crust. It's perfect. You guys, this is delicious, and it comes together so quickly, and it's so inexpensive to make at home. And I'm telling you, put your toppings on it and it tastes delicious.
Okay, that's all I have for now. Now to taste it. Seriously, delicious. You guys are gonna love this. Until next time, I'm out.